God, now watch Ronald's old sheet be like stupid and perceptive.
You know damn well it was.
It's most definitely. Every character he has a bare minimum plus 20.
Was Malcolm perceptive?
Yes.
I don't remember.
Yes.
So perceptive.
Yes. I think you've yet to make a character that has below a 15 in perception checks.
Okay. Yeah, that's
reason.
that's really good. You managed to hover just above. You see that the door is about 15, 20 feet away at most. No, it's probably 15 feet away. It's not a very large area. You flick the vial. Yes?
Yep, just flick the vial
Okay.
out past him towards the door.
When you flick the vial, it cracks. His head immediately turns like a cat. Just like sheer snap turn. He starts to move his body out of the chair to investigate further. You grabbing it and going?
Yep, I'm grabbing and de-assing the area.
Give me one more stealth.
Now, this is the time to go ahead and roll that nat 1. Watch.
Doesn't matter. You're going to blow it out of the water. No, you're good.
Oh,
You get a
the
hold of
dice
the...
didn't fuck me tonight.
You get a hold of the Athame.
Yep, and once I am out the crack, since I still got flight on, I am, I'm invisible. I am flying.
Give me a reflex. I'd like to see one reflex from you, please. Actually, wait. Before you do that, instead, escape artist.
Ooh.
Interesting. Escape artist.
Mm-hmm.
Fancy.
That's not great.
Ooh.
Interestingly enough,
Ooh.
you have no
Wow,
luck
do we
rerolls.
have any of those rerolls?
No, not even one.
Not a single one.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
The moment that you grab the Athema, you position your body to start gliding out, and the moment that most of your body is out, the Athema itself scrapes against the metal wall. And in panic, you kick out. Your heel clips the ceiling. A loud bang. Nothing's there. He can't see anything. You're invisible. But he's been alerted. You hear voices, at least voice at this point. But as you finally free yourself, what do you do?
Am I outside with the
Yeah,
Athame?
you are.
Fly my ass off.
Okay.
I am Mary Poppins at this point.
Take your ass to the Old Town Road.
Very good.
I am running out of time. I have somebody sitting in a cell waiting on this and my potential freedom.
Okay.
I'm about to solve my own problem. And create so many more.
Yeah, you are.
What can come of this?
Yes.
he's already put me in a bit of a predicament since I'm the one that's now outside
Yeah,
this
that's-
lean-to shack after all this racket has been made.
Yep.
You flee. You immediately
We'll
start
be there
heading
eventually.
to the prison, or at least to the guard house where prisoners are held. Arriving there, you float down to your cell window of sorts.
And I'm already gripping the coin.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Nothing could possibly go wrong with giving this cursed Athame to the last laugh. Nothing at all. Just look at me. Not making consequences for my actions.
The moment that you repalm the coin, your invisibility will drop. Your flight remains. You're still in the air. But you're already sweating. One, you were just in a hot shack between a hobgoblin and a fire giant, which you stole personal belongings.
And I'm just a little nervous.
A little nervous, yeah, makes sense. The moment that you grip it, you can already see your palm beginning to phase. And as you pass through, she's waiting. Looks just like you. Like looking in a mirror. She extends her hand. Though your mouth opens, you hear her voice. Coin.
Once inside, he is going to just kind of release the flight spell and flip the coin over to her. That is a handy trick.
Thank you. You're messy, by the way. Incredibly messy. You have a lot to learn. A lot more than...
Normally I have more than 5 minutes to plan. Regardless, and at this point he is going to flip the Athame up and hold it in hand. Mission accomplished.
She nods, hand extended. Do you give her the blade?
Not just yet. He is going to kind of lean back on the cell wall and kind of wag this blade a moment. Now, why, pray tell, do you need this so badly? And don't say just to save my neck.
I don't ask questions. I do as I'm told. It's what keeps me alive and out of prison.
And what assurances do I have that you're going to go ahead and follow on your end? After all, this is not exactly a common dagger.
You're right, it's a broken sword. At least that's what it looks like to me. But it means something to someone else. And that's all that really matters. There is no assurance. You just have to trust.
Honor among thieves, as they say, huh?
There is no honor among thieves, Jacob. Only the living get to experience anything else.
Point noted. At that point, he'll go ahead and flick the Athame over. I don't suppose there's anything you can do about these manacles to make them a little easier to get out of, should I need to. A spare key, for instance.
Sure. There's something that I can arrange. She holds the manacle up to your wrist, waiting for you to place your wrist inside.
Oh. Trust you. Right. He'll lay his wrist back in the manacle.
And she'll clap it down, closing tightly. You heard it lock. Very good. It'll take some time, but I'll hold at my end. I'll pass the word along, and someone should be here by the night. She takes the key off of the ring, and she holds it above you, and then throws it behind her into the opposing cell. Mir's cell. If you can figure out a way to return it to yourself. Oh, by the way, this coin, it's got two tricks. The first was that you could pass through bars. The second was that it functions sort of like a stone of sending. But instead, whomever holds it, the person with the matching piece, and she holds a similar coin, can see everything from their eyes. This is why I know you're messy. She pockets your coin. She takes off her glove and begins to cup hers. She moves her fingers around several times before you begin to see her phase out. Anything else, Jacob, before I leave?
No, I suppose that's enough for one day.
Very good. And before she makes it to her full mist form, she says, by the way, 41 minutes. You failed.
Oof.
And with the mist just poof, it's like a magic trick. Her body turns, shifts. The miasma, the smoke is gone. What do you do?
Well, one, I argue that sure as shit wasn't 41 minutes.
Way to go, asshole. Slap knows about my hidey hole now.
You just put
And
it
they
out
know
there for
about your
everyone to see.
questionable faces.
They already knew our faces. We're not hidden. We're far from the secret group that runs Cauldron.
About a minute
No.
passes. About a minute passes before that female voice from outside the bars. You really did take too long. I said 30. You asked for more. I said 33. This was agreed upon. Though it was messy, and though you returned late, you did return it. You still have an opportunity to free yourself, Jacob. But I will say that despite me returning with my goal in mind, they will likely not see on this favorably. You have to figure out a way to free yourself, currently. It's likely that they will pass this down. They will see you as a liability, which, to be totally honest, your allies probably see you as a liability. Something that you can work on. I think you're intuitive. You're capable. You managed to free yourself from many challenges. And I think you'll see yourself through this one. I'll tell the others that you failed. And by the others, I mean your friends. They'll want to know.
Save they have no idea why I did this or who you'd be.
I know. It would be a shame if you would have told them, though, because then, well, I would have actually had to have killed you.
Yes, well, generally when I'm doing jobs for secret organizations, I try not to go ahead and say who my employer is, or
That's good. That's
who
very
my
good.
salvation would have been.
It does show that you can be bought, though. Consider this another test. The key is at arm's length. You can at least free your hand. It's only 20, 30 feet away. You should be able to grab onto that. Maybe you can whisper to a rat and have it retrieve it for you. You hear a giggle. And then nothing more.
Should have seen that coming.
I'm going to let you stew on that for a minute and pass it back to the
Thanks.
rest of the Bumbles.
Cort
My
would
Bumbly
have,
friends.
Yeah.
How was Jill?
I mean, I'm with Ronald at the moment. So he's just tossed over my shoulder. I would have assumed that I would have ascended the stairs to
Sure.
find that no one was inside the bathhouse. I don't know what happened to Klaus though.
What has happened to Klaus?
Well,
Did you go back to your hidey hole?
that depends pretty heavily on what the hobgoblin decided to do, and for that matter, the fire giant. After there was a massive racket being raised inside their hut.
It won't be long. Probably no more than 3 or 4 minutes before there is a half giant, a fire giant, stumbling into the bathhouse. His face distraught with concern, brows furrowed.
Someone broke in. They have taken something. Something important. Why would anyone break into a blacksmith's?
I don't.
Oh, never mind.
I don't really have an answer for that. Do you know what was taken?
We've taken stock of everything there. And the only thing missing is a raw, broken weapon. It was the woman's. The woman covered in plate.
Can't say I know anything about that.
Do you say that?
Yep.
Just like that?
Exactly like that.
You have to give me a fucking hardcore bluff on
I was
that
already
one.
hovering it.
I'm hoping you get that nat 20.
Oh, I don't think... I mean, unless I nat 20, there's no way I'm going to be able to see through this.
Ooh.
Close, though.
Yep.
Close.
Well, what of the others? Have they?
I'm
Where
assuming
is the
this
boy?
would- Yeah, we would be coming up, right?
I would assume you'd be pretty close to, if not already back up in the bathhouse.
Yeah.
The boy and the dwarf, they're on their way back. They took a trip down to the underside. As you may well know at this point, the half-demon is in prison. And as far as Thelsa goes, the one in plate, as you called her, I can't say any of us know where she is.
Well, it is hers. The instrument, the weapon. She will be very concerned.
I understand, but if you don't mind, leave that to us. We'll break the news to her when we do see her again.
You must tell her that someone broke in. Someone stepped inside. And I don't know how.
Of course.
Why would anyone take a broken weapon?
I suppose for the same reasons that someone would want to get it repaired or formed into anything else. I mean, it has to have value of some kind, even broken.
Is it important to you?
Not to me specifically, but to some of the people that we know.
His face is just painted with concern.
It is... I bring shame. I was to shape it. It is my duty. It was to be protected. She asked me to care and protect it.
I certainly don't think it's your fault that somebody broke in and stole something from you. You can safeguard something all you want, but if somebody wants it badly enough, they will find a way to get it. You shouldn't beat yourself up over this.
I failed a third time.
He'll turn without saying anything else.
Oof.
He leaves. Ulhime, Cort,
Yes.
you arrive as a fire giant leaves the bathhouse.
Cort would, while carrying Ulhime over his shoulder, would turn to Klaus. Oh, hey, why is he awake? Did he have something to say?
It's best if we don't speak of it for now.
What should I do with Ulhime?
I suppose we need to tend to him in some form or fashion. Granted, I don't exactly know how with this form of his, but it can't exactly be walking around with that thing hanging open.
Ulhime will walk over to his bag. Is his soul ore still there?
No, you left your ore with
Dugobras.
Dugobras.
Okay. Ulhime will trying to straighten himself up, and he'll put a hand, I guess the broken gauntlet hand onto to Cort, and just give him a nod. Thank you. And he'll start making his way outside to Dugobras.
It's a struggle, but you make your way outside. You find Dugabras's hut. The door is open. You see various things, bits of metal, flashing, just kind of thrown out the door itself. Malgrim, the hobgoblin, leans against the door, and when he sees you coming up, his eyes kind of flash concern. You look incredibly different to him.
I'll look to Malgrim, and I'll just say, Dugobras.
He kind of points behind him.
Gives him a nod, and he'll walk into the hut.
When you arrive inside of the hut, there is something that seems to be like lurking over the cinders. The way that it's been hung up is more so in a way that it's like a slow cook. It's not the way that you kind of superheat natural metal to break it down into a liquid form, just to reshape it and harden it. This is different. And as such, it's kind of like on a bit of a rotating spit, but it looks more like a cage wrapped around it as it's sort of cycling. And it's, for one reason or another, it seems to be softening your soul ore that's inside of this cage. And it's got a bit more of a smoothness to it. It's less ridged, less bumpy. It looks a bit more refined, but you're not really sure because you know that this is incredibly dense. It's not something that you've been able to shatter yourself. This is not very orthodox compared to most ways that a blacksmith would handle a metal like this.
Yeah.
He's sitting with his face down, his hands covering them, elbows on his knees. And he's just rubbing his forehead and his eyes.
Place his hand onto his knee. What's wrong?
His head kind of shoots up, looking at you.
Someone broke in. They took the woman's blade. I am a mistake. I have failed too many times. I bring shame on the blacksmiths of this land, and of fire alike.
Ulhime will squeeze his leg. No shame. You can atone if you wish.
The frustration builds on his face. He is technically a very high up in the order of flame of this particular plane. Mm-hmm. And you can see his jaw like reflexively clenching over and over again. Someone who's anxious or nervous, afraid, depressed, that kind of thing. These are things that can typically happen when you can read their face. His eyes kind of wander to and fro for a little bit, but you never see the jaws sort of unclench, but the muscles seem to ream through the face, and every time it does so, it's like the skin cracks, but then when he releases it goes back together and cracks again, and every time you can see the glow of flame beneath. You always know that he's so much more, and it's not something that is often seen as far as emotions are concerned. You can tell that he's been on this plane for a while. He's beginning to experience things that most material survivors do experience. He's experiencing grief, but it's at the cost of himself. You know, based on his story, that he believes that he is an utter failure. And on his passing, he said in the next 30 days he will make for you a shield, and for her a weapon. That's all he set out to do. And in that time, one of those weapons have come up missing. Stolen from him. Inside of his hut with another person, awake, alive. His eyes begin to sort of shake slightly.
Mm-hmm.
And where naturally you would see like a welling of water, like a pool begin to build up, steam begins to flit from his eyes as it runs down his cheek. A small cloud of smoke, very faint, begins to waft up. His lips pull back, revealing clenched teeth, cracked in spots. His knuckles reflexively crack as he clenches them tighter and tighter. You can see the glow emitting from the cracked skin.
Seeing the grief well up within him, Ulhime will stand in front of him, and he'll place his hand on the busted gauntlet on top of Dugobross's fist, and he's gonna channel the spell slowly, but with he's gonna perform an atonement on Dugobross.
Click atonement for me. You need the component for this.
My gauntlet acts as my divine focus for that, or the prayer device.
Correct, but you need a set of prayer beads or other prayer device that's worth at least that much, and your gauntlet is broken. It'll take a few days, and now its value when you have a broken or destroyed item, its value decreases drastically. If you had another component, I mean, on top of that, like somatic components, you need to be able to use your hands. Give it a few days, you would succeed at this. But in your current state, not only is your arm worth significantly less because it's, to everyone else, just a piece of armor, but secondly, your hand is kind of wrought. It's like twisted sheer. You're powerful, but you're broken.
No problem then. Alright, so if I can't do that, then I'll at least still try to talk to him.
Okay. Before you do, I want to know what's happening with Cort now, and with Klaus. You guys have been left alone. Klaus, you could read it over his face. He was pretty disgusted with himself, even if you told him he shouldn't beat himself up. Now, you're not a bad guy. You may have done a lot of terrible things, but any time that someone or something that you could remotely connect to, happily, you protect them, at least to the best of your ability. And of all people, you finally find another person who's from another plane, an elemental plane at that, who's been anchored to a body and is now set to his deathbed. Does he ever find out about this? Do you tell him? Do you try to right the wrong?
The problem I have with that is if I were to try to right the wrong and tell him that what happened wasn't his fault in any way, shape, or form, it was an orchestrated effort to take this item away from his grasp in order to sort of save somebody else that we care for, that sets in motion a series of events in which we set basically a part of the party against another part of the party.
Yeah.
Potentially in fatal combat, and that's not something that I can abide by, despite the fact that he's really not done anything wrong by us. Some would even say that he's been a huge asset in terms of our success recently. I can't allow him thinking that he's a failure to lead to something that sort of destructive, I suppose.
Sure. So do you just kind of take this inside and just hold it?
For the time being.
Okay.
Cort's not having this moral dilemma. He didn't see Dugobross. He's literally waiting for Jakob and Ulhime to walk back through the non-door.
Jakob doesn't.
Yeah, no one's told me that Jakob is just gone, and I'm sure Klaus doesn't know that either. Unless you've pieced that part together.
I kind of guessed when I heard the loud bangs, and then he
Cort was super fucking far down with Ulhime.
Yeah.
For all I know, he's still just outside, and Dugobros came in to say like, "Wow, I gave him the sword and it went really well. He'll be right back in." And then he just walked away. So Cort's just kind of, I honestly twiddling his thumbs at this point, waiting.
Okay. While you're waiting, and admittedly you're not waiting very long, twiddling your thumbs.
I'm not waiting a few hours.
Klaus, same for you, even though you're kind of harboring this disgusting feeling inside. A figure does darken your doorway. It's neither Ulhime, nor is it Jakob. It's a woman. The moment she steps through, she drops the cowl. She shows your tightly braided, long red hair.
Excuse me, ma'am. This isn't really a bathhouse anymore.
Oh, I know.
Oh.
I know it's not. Just kind of taking in the sights.
What business do you have here?
Is that blood?
Maybe.
Cort, you should be quiet.
Told to deliver a message.
Out with it then.
Very well. Your friend, Jakob, the demon. He wanted me to tell you that he failed. He needs another way out. That's all right.
Well, I appreciate your services.
She tilts her head, as in like a bow, and as she does, she begins to back out.
Cort's just gonna kind of sit there stumped.
Looks like we're going to be breaking him from jail after all.
Won't that still get us in trouble, though?
I mean, any more so than we already are? I don't think so. I would argue that the town is in a lot more trouble with him locked up than it is with him free.
But what if the guard tries to come for us? They're not gonna like that we busted him out.
They won't have much time to arrest us while we're being swarmed by vampires, and they are as well. After the fact, we can deal with the mess. I mean, it's about time that these things caught up with us. Or at least me.
Now, Cort, you've been dubbed a prelim knight.
Yeah.
You protect people and abide by the law, or at least it's believed so, by Jared. You want to protect your friend Jakob, but at what cost?
I don't want the guards to get hurt.
That's fair.
I don't want the equivalent of Thelsa going in there, slaughtering half of the guardhouse, killing the prisoners, opening up the door and saying, look, they're dead, you can walk free now. Because that would be horrible. In Cort's mind, he's trying to think of a way to end this without bloodshed, preferably.
Okay.
Because we already have plenty of that on the bathhouse floor.
Okay. So pandering for you two as well. Hoping to divine a thought, an answer, a way to handle the situation.
I'd kind of like to start laying out a plan of what we can do to, I mean, I guess we're basically laying out a jailbreak. That's what it comes down to.
Plain and simple, we're gonna bust him out of jail. Cort would very well make his intentions known that he wants to do this as non-violently as possible.
I've got to ask, is it still a potential for you? Is it still crossing your mind to disguise yourself and take Jacob's place?
It's an option. I don't see any reason why that wouldn't. At least at the moment, I don't see any reason why that wouldn't be
that's fair.
A viable option.
Yeah.
That being said, if there's a way for us to get out of this situation without either of us having to die. That'd be the preferable way. But if things go south, I mean, there is always that option. It's sort of a last resort more than my first instinct.
Okay. All right. So you try to begin laying out the plans. You're discussing things with Cort, who is pursuing things to be the easiest they possibly can without getting more people injured or hurt.
I feel like I should also mention Cort might be stupid socially, but when it comes to combat and battle plans, he's not an idiot.
Okay, that's fair.
I feel like, because I know the meme is that Cort's a fucking idiot, but this is literally the one area of expertise that he has.
Okay.
Fucking West Point graduate over here.
You guys can be talking about it. You
yeah.
can discuss the things accordingly, and you should probably prep a plan for Ulhime. You know that you have the rest of the day today, and by the end of tomorrow...
That's when the trial happens.
Exactly. By eve
so we have
tomorrow.
Like a day and a
trial.
half
Yep.
To fully do this.
Yes. Ulhime!
Yo.
What do you say? What do you say to the big man in this time?
Seeing as he's getting mad, Ulhime will try to work a smile to him. Time here is making you human.
You trying to smile right now is an absolutely vilifying thought in my mind, considering you... Because it's just like upturned, but you have no skin here, so it's just...
See, you know what I'm imagining? You've seen the spitter from Left 4 Dead?
Yes.
How she has like the distended jaw? I'm imagining that, but dwarf. And it's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying in every sense of the word.
He doesn't say anything for that.
Does it make you angry to have an emotion other than rage?
Fire does not feel. It only consumes.
Where we come from, fire represents many things. Light, destruction, passion. It's not unusual for you to feel something different. In spite of what you are. Just because you are flame does not mean you cannot be anything more than what you are. You are growing.
I may be growing, but I'm dying. In half a month's time. What good will growth have over me if I'm not here to feel?
You won't be here, but your existence will not be gone. If you are okay with that, I can send you somewhere to have another purpose. If you would allow it.
His eyes never look to yours. Give me a diplomacy. Of course you nat 20. Of course you do. You stole all of Sniper's luck. That's what it is.
What do you mean luck? I'm fairly certain luck had nothing to do with that.
You're the luckless bastard when you play with Ronald.
No, I'm just a luckless bastard, trust me. My other groups will go ahead and let you know I'm this bad all the time.
Every game. I'm pretty sure in the game that I DM'd for him, you rolled, what, 3 ones in a row at one point?
Something like that.
Yeah. It carries to literally every game. It's terrifying.
It takes a few moments, but his eyes will finally train on yours. His head doesn't seem to turn, but his eyes train on yours.
Your mortal coil. I was asked to execute. But this,
And he points to his chest.
everything in here, I was not tasked with destroying. As I said, there is a place I can send you to help another. But only if you wish to go of your own accord. I cannot force you.
Why? I will only let you down. As I have with everything else. I have nothing else to believe in. I am set to be smoted. My fire will no longer exist on this plane.
He grabs Dugobross's hand, like his clenched fist, and he puts it to Ulhime's gauntlet to essentially, just to place his hand over.
If you will not believe in yourself, if your faith is lacking in your own resolve, then put your faith in me. Put your faith in Helm, and I can send you to a place where your flame will burn ever bright against the darkness that will fear you. Become my guardian. Become my champion. You will have a home again. You will have purpose.
My job here is not done. A flame cannot move until it has consumed all. My purpose is that I am to return 2 weapons of great purpose to a dwarven man and to a plated woman. Only then will I free my anchor. Bring me the blade back. Prove to me that you're worth believing in.
Very well. But as you can see, I too am dying.
And he kind of looks over to the soul ore as it's still turning in the pit.
Finish that for me, and I will grant you what you seek. I will leave you alone with your thoughts. I am sorry to have disturbed you at this early morning.
And he gives him a bow and he starts to walk out. As he sees Malgrim, he'll turn to him.
Keep a watchful eye over him. He needs a friend.
Malgrim goes to say something, but all that really kind of comes out is,
Gives him a nod and he kind of just pats his shoulder.
Good lad.
And he keeps walking.
Okay. You reconvene with the other 2 inside. I think we want to
You walk in, it looks like fucking Pepe Silva everywhere. Or Sylvia. It's fucking just pieces of
Red
yarn
string
connecting.
Yep.
Yeah. Entire conspiracy board, but just a bank heist. Or, but a fucking breakout. That's the right type of scheme we're going for.
When you step inside, they're plotting something. They're discussing the proper method of speed, the proper element of surprise For springing a 1, Jacob Rivers.
This can't go bad. The city won't hate us. No.
So I hear them talking about a prison break.
Yep.
You do.
You will not break the law anymore. There is another way. We will not be criminals.
What other way do you see?
He took that weapon. Perhaps it was to show some sort of proof.
There was a lady who came and said that he failed in whatever he did. And that...
Kiana,
No. Kiana's the guard one, right?
Correct.
No, it wasn't her. This was someone new. She had red hair.
You've never
absolutely
met
reason
anyone.
with them.
You've never met anyone with that description.
Yeah, no, I'd assume as much.
I will talk to Jared to see if he can have another chance.
We've
He
spoken.
didn't... Yeah, he didn't like it when we walked in there. He said that he would try, but he can't really do much with the city hating him. And him being Jacob.
I cannot spring him from that prison. My domain and laws do not permit me to do so.
Then you were never involved?
I will have to stand against you, should you decide to spring him from that prison. Even if it means the end of me.
If this is where our paths diverge, then so be it.
We're trying to come up with a way to make sure no one gets hurt at least. Maybe that way they'll just...
Your path will lead to nothing but bloodshed.
And yours to nothing but failure. You can't win by playing by the rules.
Even if we don't win, I would rather keep our honor intact than sacrifice everything that we are as people.
But are you gonna sacrifice Jacob for it?
No, I will not give up on him. But I will not break my code. I will not go against my domain. I will not let darkness seep in for the benefit of one, even one who is my friend.
Pause. He says that, and many of the things that you have been doing has revolved around doing the wrong thing in an effort to do the right thing. Many people have gotten hurt and or killed. And when he says letting the shadows seep in, Thelsa is a shadow.
What?
Ulhime saw himself. Thelsa killed her family.
Yeah,
Brutally killed her family.
correct.
Yet she still sleeps here night after night.
Correct.
You both know this. It's
Yes.
definitely a point of contention. And
Cort's not really happy with that part either.
Go. Back to you.
Honor's no good to you. Alive or dead. Honor doesn't protect this town. It doesn't protect us. It doesn't buy you anything. In my experience, honors only wrought more disdain.
I think honor's important, but he's our friend. And he's supposed to be like your brother, isn't he?
He is. But my teachings would mean nothing if I did this now to turn away against everything I taught him about being a better person.
Your
Aren't you-
teachings were not meant to form you into an unyielding, unfeeling being.
Maybe he's
There are
more human than
times-
demon.
Regardless of what he's more of, he's our friend, first and foremost, and your brother. Will you stand by and let him hang? For attempting to better the town, to save innocent lives?
I would not stand idle to watch him hang. But I will do everything I can within the confines of the law that stands in this world, within this town. We side with darkness far too much, and it cost us more than we bargained for.
Your concerns are valid. But
What
I
if the
fear...
issue-
You were saying?
What if the issue's not with Jacob being bad or good? Jared said that no matter what the outcome is, even if he's proven innocent, people still might vote to hang him. We can't
If there's
really win
corruption
against
in this
that.
town, I will root that corruption out.
In a day? That's a lot of corruption. Well, we have a day and a half, and I don't think the half a day will make that much more of a difference.
It does if you cut the head off the serpent. And I see
Gee.
the serpent's face.
Have you now?
Gives him a nod.
Who do you believe to be the root?
The ones who lined their pockets with gold. Who would wash their hands with the blood of the people.
And he see him pull up a like a stool to sit down with the open I said guess pathway of the bathhouse. He's not looking at them at this point. He's just trying to focus on making sure he's staying attached, but he continues on.
Those who would call themselves nobles. They are the corruption. On the surface, we know of the darkness below. So long as these people will live in fear of them, they will never be free. But I do not have the power to stop them yet. Helm's law, my law, is to protect those who cannot protect themselves. And to protect them,
And what if Jacob
I
can't
would
protect
destroy
himself right now?
those who would bring them harm.
I agree that the nobles need to be stopped and that they are, at least seemingly, the cause of all these problems, but like you said, you do not have the power to stop them, nor the evidence, and neither do we.
And Jacob
What-
doesn't really have time either.
Exactly. What good is it if we bring the nobles in front of the people and the people say they've done nothing wrong? We'd have to expose...
They will answer to my law.
Then you'll become as much of an enemy as the people as Jacob has, or myself. As I said, there's no winning playing by the rules.
There is. I just feel that you might have lost your sense of that a long time ago. So to be so young and to be so exposed to the darkness of this world has warped your mind.
Maybe it has. But I get my results.
I don't really have a god or any kind of sense of good beyond what I was taught, but I was told to stick up for my family and friends, and you guys are kind of my family. I mean, it's why Thelsa's still here. You guys wouldn't let me, not let her here. And I don't want to go in there and kill everyone and do damage to the town, but if we
find a
don't,
way around it.
well, if we end up not doing it, Jacob's probably gonna die. There's not really the way around that. We can fight the nobles, or we can bring their heads to them on a spike, but that's still not gonna, stop them.
They will be given a chance to surrender.
They'll never take that chance.
Give me a day. But I must ask if you can help Dougal Bros.
I'll give you 18 hours. I'll speak to Dougal Ross, and you have 18 hours.
I give you 33 minutes.
Ulhime will get up from the stool, and he'll walk towards Klaus. I assume he knows more or less the kind of stature that he has, but he puts his hand out to shake his hand. But he has it this way since his other hand is still kind of gone. He'll just kind of put his hand out like that.
Pound it, bro.
As he puts his hand out, I'm going to remove the mask and sort of appear in my true form and extend my arm, clasping his.
There is something I must ask you then, for agreement.
Of course.
You who rules Oxypitus, and I, in line to rule the domain of protection. If I have this time, help me bring these nobles to justice, either by shackle or by blade.
I'll stand by you until we can't anymore.
Then I must rest. You will find me in my temple.
And Helm starts making his descent into the shrine to take his rest to recover.
Cort's just gonna kind of... So, what if he doesn't make it in time?
Then we move forward. With or without him.
He's gonna kind of go back to the plan and continue to kind of sketch out the fine details, I'd assume. He has a mostly decent memory, so if anything, he'd probably be sketching out a drawing of the guardhouse itself.
Hey, Legends of Adventurous, thank you so much for the raid, man, for that girthy raid. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate that. Welcome in, everybody. Bubbernaut, this is episode 155 of Shackled City, and some ominous things are afoot. It's getting wild up in here. Wild.
Is one day usually 2 sessions? Do you mean one day is in IRL? Or
In-game.
one day in-game?
Depends.
That would not be 2 sessions. It depends on what we do, yeah.
They can cross
Weeks?
8 continents in about, I don't know, 1 session, 40 minutes. But they can
Or
also
we can
span
spend
a
an
15-foot
entire-
hallway in 4 hours.
You took the words out of my mouth, you dick.
Yeah, goodness gracious. Thank you so much. Welcome in, everybody. We're dealing with some things. Yeah. So, we're going to pass this back over here.
To Thelsa.
No, not to Thelsa. Not to Thelsa. Not this time.
Looking forward to seeing Annie's reaction to his sword getting jacked.
You've been left alone to your thoughts now for a while. Probably 30, 40 minutes. Nobody ever appears in that opposite cage. That's what you are. You're caged. You thought you were doing a favor. You thought you bought yourself freedom. You may have just bought your way into more problems if you happen to survive this. want to know what's going on right now. What's happening inside of Jacob's head? How is he feeling? And what's he going to do about the key?
Well, unfortunately, the key is a full 20 feet away. It's not like he has enough on hand to even make it out, short of breaking the damn manacle himself.
Okay.
You know, he has no access to his spells. He could probably brute force a few raw elemental energies, but not really any potent effect.
Your food will be delivered. This time,
You know,
by
I would
Ja-
imagine that he would at least try one cantrip to see just how powerful the manacles are.
Sure. Which cantrip?
Probably open close.
Ping it for me.
I think that would work on a minor lock door.
You would think. It does not. Your spell fizzles. Where you would normally channel energy and arcane would burst forth, even if a cantrip. It does not. You've been
But
neutered.
yeah, I can feel it's fizzling at the bracelet, not just because the door is locked.
That's correct. Your food will be delivered by none other than the guard captain himself. Jared Skellering moves unabashedly so. He's not really sure what to make of the situation. He hasn't seen other people. Nobody has immediately come to your rescue. He even says that. He begins passing the food through. It's mostly fruits. I've got to admit, I'm a little ashamed that you didn't break out already.
Jacob's just going to be sitting on his cot next to the cell bars, just with one hand resting up on the edge, tapping away at the bars themselves, thinking. But hearing that he is going to look over to Jacob or Jared.
Hungry?
I'm starved. But no, right now I'm thinking. And I'll admit I am debating whether or not I'm going to attempt breaking out.
You'll have to leave. You realize that. You'll have to leave. You'll be a wanted fugitive. There will be a kill order.
Wouldn't be the first time I left a place on one of those. But no, I still have scores to settle. Been sitting here, letting things brew and settle on my mind, and no, there's still some things that need to be handled in the city. No worries. Definitely bad people. People you would rather do without.
You're preaching? I'm hearing it. I'd rather
Save
than
that
be
up.
caught.
Oh, at this point, I'm not really thinking about getting caught, getting away with it. No. At this point, I'm thinking I've been spending far, far too much of my time and efforts trying to avoid conflict.
Maybe that's part of the problem.
I'll admit, in this particular instance, I'd be possibly willing to go so far as to burn down half the city to do it. I have deals I could make with devils to get this done, but I don't think I'm quite that perturbed yet.
A part of me doesn't think you're really that bad of a person. You're just jaded. You've been wronged by plenty. And I don't blame you. There's a lot of really shitty people out there. And even inside of these walls. Hell, to be honest, some of the guard. I recognize it. They've been compromised. I do what I can to weed them out. Push them onto other things. But it would just be easier if you could identify who the problem was. Tell me about it. I can act for you in that time. Who's the problem? Do you have any proof?
Problem, proof. Nothing that's necessarily going to get me out of this cage. And let's be quite honest. If it's a problem that this city has been dealing with before you came along, it's probably going to remain after as well.
Maybe. I've not exactly got the most competent people working for me.
Or the most sane, but that's personal opinion.
I like to think they're motivated. You seem rather lively this morning. Surely. Did Mir keep you up? He turns. He throws the apple at you through the bars. Then he looks back. Where the hell is Mir?
Catching the apple up, he's just going to shine it off on his leg. Search me, he's been quiet as a mouse all morning.
He tosses a hunk of bread through as well, and puts what looks to be some kind of container of water. It's just this small bit of water. It's nothing substantial. Enough to kind of slake the thirst, but nothing that you could shift into like a shiv or anything like that. No tools.
A leather cup.
Yeah. But he'll
Get a
pass
bread
it through.
shiv.
He'll pass it through. And after you've collected the bread, he immediately walks out. Knowing that Mir's missing, he has work to do. You probably overhear him saying, "It's too early for this shit."
And Jacob's going to kind of set the heels of his palms on the top of the apple and then roll his palms in to split the apple in half.
And there's another host right there. JD Scientist, thank you so much, my guy.
Jared!
What's up, buddy? Welcome, everybody. We're nearing end of tonight's session.
But yeah, Jacob's just going to start having his meal how he usually does. Splitting things apart. Picking at it. Taking his time.
Mulling things over.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I think tonight we will not have a cliffhanger. Tonight we're going to end here.
I think you just saved Christy and Nem's blood pressure.
There will not be a cliffhanger. Tonight you get to rest easy knowing that not another problem has cropped up. Yet,
For now.
the entire session has been a cropped up problem.
The whole session is a problem.
I can actually sleep?
Quick! Apparently there's a key shoved into the apple.
Okay. There was actually a well-hidden shiv directly in the core.
The bread's been coated in arsenic. Sorry.
We get there and he's already dead. Dun dun dun!
So,
I was half tempted to just go ahead and say that he's going to break out of the jail on his own just through sheer strength and,
I can break these cuffs!
Can't break these cuffs.
I can break the... You can't break those cuffs.
These cuffs!
So,
Truth told, he can kill most people with one punch. I think he can break a cinematical, probably a door or two.
what do you guys think? Well, what do you think is happening right now? What's going on
I'm trying
in the world?
I'm trying to decide if we're gonna go fucking beat up a bunch of guards and open up a cell door.
I mean, you don't have to beat up guards to break somebody out of prison.
You are way overvaluing our stealth.
Hey, you don't need skill when you have magic.
Exactly.
Ronald.
I don't. Knowing our group, watching what happened tonight with the invisibility, I don't think there is a chance in hell that we have to get him out there without being caught. At least
Look,
someone.
Okay.
What's going
Jacob is way too clumsy for that shit. All right.
He's mostly not wrong. What kind of machinations are at play right now, man? You've seen some things happen. We saw Jacob get out. Some other things happen with the last laugh. Things are kind of nutty right now. What's going on? What are you thinking?
For that, I mean, I would say obviously we're reaching an apex of situations. We got Jacob's trial. We got 2 days till Jacob's trial, so we have one more day before that actually kicks off.
We don't even have 2 days. We have a day and a half.
Dugo Bros wants Thelsa's blade to finish because he feels like if he doesn't do it, then he won't be complete.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think they're doing with Thelsa's blade?
They're gonna stab
That I don't
someone with
know.
it.
I would say if anything,
Probably use it to control her.
Yeah.
Or siphon her power away.
Something along those
someone
lines.
knows that she's connected to Weejoss at this point. I would say it's probably what's his face, Ike Iverson. Haven't seen him in a while, and knowing him with his resources, he probably has the blade because it's been blessed by Weejoss, and knowing that information, he's going to want it.
Okay.
From there, it's it's us trying to figure out how we're gonna free Jacob, and there's the prison break that Ulhime does not want to be a part of, and he's kind of at his wit's end with the nobles. He's kind of like, all right, if I'm gonna be a god, I'm gonna start acting like one, and I would say mortal laws are on the low part of the totem pole of his worries when it comes to the greater good of the people. And at this point, he's worried that the people are going to suffer even more because of them. So he's gonna be walking up the mayor's steps, and he's gonna be knocking on that door.
All right, I've got to take a moment here. Something Sniper over here. Whiz save for someone to remember that there wasn't a door. No whiz save for me to remember, though. Nope. Okay, all right. Hold on. It's about to happen. All right.
You're muted, Sniper.
You just walked through it! Literally 30 seconds prior, you walked through the orifice that was the bathhouse. They were asleep.
When I stated that, I said I opened the door enough to slip in. Nobody caught me
You actually
on
said
that
to poke your ass in.
The office door.
No, the door to the... It doesn't matter. I'm just a little salty. I can be salty. Let me be salty.
Man, all these
Salty
flavors.
at the end of every game.
All these flavors.
Yeah, whiz save for somebody to remember there wasn't a door. No whiz save for me to remember there is no fucking door.
I didn't think I had to give you a save. You just fucking walked through it. You literally walked through it.
What I'm learning is we need diagrams.
What I'm learning is that apparently people need to remember I'm mildly... Word I can't use because people are PC. Not remembering well.
I mean, overall, though, I mean, you got the item that you wanted, so, I mean, it's...
You did. You succeeded.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But I was apparently something like, what, 7 minutes late?
Yep.
Yes.
Arbitrarily. How we went ahead and
Hey, if
measured
you
that,
hadn't-
I don't know.
I was about to say, if you weren't fucking elbow deep in his hidey hole, it probably would have gone
You had
fast.
13 minutes
If you weren't
to
my
succeed.
hidey hole, and if you had just, come down outside of the shack, I would have teleported you back to the guardhouse.
I flew!
Teleporting is instant.
Oh, sure, teleporting is instant, but it's not like we're that far across the city. That flight wouldn't have cut the time dramatically.
It would have
But
been
no, it doesn't
maybe
matter.
maybe like 20 seconds at
I
best.
think the biggest thing was the hidey hole.
It was
Pulling out
mostly
and
the
looking at
talking.
There was
Honestly,
no,
Yeah.
I'm,
it was
I'm
mostly the
convinced there was
conversation.
no actual measure of time there. That no matter how fast he went, it was still going to be
actually,
a couple minutes late.
I had it all worked out. But it doesn't matter if I said 43 minutes, 55 minutes, 72 minutes. You were going to be salty. Even the chat was like, quick, watch Sniper wax poetic when he's on a time crunch.
Dude's got to get it in where he can.
Yeah. It's all right. It's okay. I'm not mad. It just makes things more interesting. Failure is not necessarily indicative of bad things. It just makes things more interesting.
It would just be nice not to fail once.
I was waiting, honestly, for her to just take the sword, take the coin, and just walk away. I didn't even expect her to give the grace of you failed. I expected her to just be like, "Cool, thanks for the sword, nerd." Later. I was straight up waiting for that to get pulled, and then it didn't. And I was like, I mean, hey, it works.
Yeah, I had a
I'll
feeling
allow
that was more or less along the lines of what was going on. That it was with Ike Iverson hiring the last.
To be
lap.
totally fair, too, at the same time, who's to say that this isn't part of your challenge?
True. I mean, she left you the key, so it's kind of she gave you
Yeah.
a second opportunity.
You just have to break those cuffs, and then you can use a
Yeah.
floaty hand.
I can break these cups.
You can't break
Yeah.
those cuffs.
But yeah, I mean,
No. Her throwing the key was rubbing salt in the wound.
You should just
That
come here
was-
to
that was-
Oh,
she didn't-
shit.
That was the
That
moment
was-
where Jacob was like, "Oh, I'm burning the city down."
but that's her key though. So that's what she's saying. Like, if you give it back to her, she might reconsider. That
Oh
was the whole
no,
thing.
fuck it. Jacob's past that.
He's gonna fucking burn
just-
the
I'll give it back to her, all right, in her eye socket.
I'm gonna unlock the secrets to that bitch's
No,
head.
she went ahead and, oh, you were messy.
I can picture it already. It's like one of those scenes where she's like walking out a tavern, and she like walks down a dark alley. She just sees Jacob standing there, and she goes, "Oh, hey, you made it out." She's like, "My key," and he just kind of like looks at it, and he goes, "Before I give you this, there's someone I want you to meet." And she goes, and he just looks up and he goes, "Father, this is the girl I was telling you about." And he just goes, boom, just decapitates her.
Dad, this is the bitch that broke my heart.
Knowing
he
that
just, like,
door,
looks
and
down-
he'd just adopt her if
he
you
just-
told him that.
He just cuts her head off, and then you just see Jacob just walk up to her and he goes, "Never make a deal with the demon," and just walks away. I would have been like, mic drop, but that's not what's going
All
to
right,
happen.
you
So that's
can
not,
go, Dad. You're get the fuck
that's
out
that's
of here before I
Ronald playing
fight you.
Jacob. That's not Sniper playing Jacob.
Oh no. At
That's
this
Malcolm
point,
playing Jacob.
at this point, Jacob is getting. You guys have to remember, Jacob has failed consistently.
Yes.
Maybe you were
Since I've
destined to
started-
fail.
Oh,
Arguably,
yeah.
it's the only thing you're consistent on.
Everything that has happened so far has been a direct failure for Jacob. He has caused a celestial war at this point. He has failed so hard. At this point, he's getting kind of tired of trying to do the right thing.
So maybe
Just
if
go
he
back to
tries to
doing the
be
wrong
evil, he'll inadvertently be good.
Some
Well-
backwards ass logic going on here.
You try to steal something from someone.
Keep
and
in
you end up
mind that in
donating it
my
to an
head
orphanage.
canon, he was evil before.
And then he
coming
became a
across
good guy.
Ulhime.
Yeah, to be
His
clear.
attempts.
Things are creeping up. Big things.
Oh boy.
Oh, it's okay. He's going to be burning down churches, burning down the city. At this point, he's just ready to go ahead and cause death on a whole
Are we
new
Nazis?
scale. He's going to earn that 103 by the time he's done.
Me and Ronald are the only good aligned people in this party, and it really shows.
Well, I mean,
And even less so for me.
the sorcerer is just now neutral based.
I thought you went into chaotic or evil, didn't
He's
you?
still
I was
neutral.
chaotic good, but then I went
Ah.
to chaotic neutral.
Gotcha. I didn't know that you were chaotic good. That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
I guess it
Yeah.
kind of makes
Which
sense.
is what
I
makes
like to-
what makes his
I like to
decision
think I played
easier.
it pretty well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it made his decision easier. That's why I was
No,
like,
I just never thought
in the
about it.
past-
I always imagined you were true neutral.
in the past you had done these things for this reason, but now you've decided to hold this,
yeah.
and he's staying true to the alignment.
Yeah.
It's going to cause too much turmoil, and it's inconvenient to him.
I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, if they don't submit, and I'm hoping they do, be like, cool. You guys submitted. You guys are gonna atone for the evil you've done. I have a friend who has a place where you can repent for that. Y'all ever heard of Occipitous? Come on, I'll show you where it's at.
It's a holy bastion among.
Don't mind the giant
How-
vagina hippos.
Don't mind the
how long?
boiling, festering floor.
How long do we have to stay here? 2
2
hours tops. I'll be back.
Just sit here next to this giant cyst.
Yeah, as he is outside, he's going to pull out a sand timer. When 2 hours have gone by, I will come for you. Step in this portal.
Well, tonight's session
It's been years.
a little slower, but I think for good reason. You guys got an opportunity to do some very heavy mood roleplay. The previous session ended heavy mood roleplay. This whole session was heavy mood roleplay. What is the last laugh doing with the sword?
Stabbing people with it.
You think it's just as simple as stabbing people?
No, I think they're gonna.
It's definitely
tune
not,
it.
but that's what
They're essentially gonna try to do with what I guess Dugobros is trying to do with the sword, but they're probably gonna do that for Ike. They'll probably attune it to him, where it's blessed by We Just, but attuned to him.
I am 100% convinced that the last laugh really has nothing to do with the sword itself, that they're under hire. But
Yeah,
Jacob's going to go ahead and figure that out sometime amongst killing all of them.
Dude, you know what? I honestly gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. If that does happen, like if Ulhime is there to see that, like now the Torn show up like with you, and he's like, I'm killing all the last laugh. Ulhime's gonna be like, using a greater evil to do a greater good. Jacob's learning. Good job.
No. He's not going to show up with Nab the Torrent. He's not calling on Daddy for this. This is a matter of personal pride at this point.
No, yeah, but yeah, he might be like, hey, like don't kill him immediately. Like let them run 10 feet and then like shoot.
You would
him.
not.
No, I'm just kidding. That'd be
You would.
horrible.
None of those things are true. Surely based off of how your character would react alignment-wise, you would sooner imprison all of them than allow him to just completely obliterate them.
I would imprison them, and then I would cast Earthquake on the prison, and watch it crumble into the crater in the center. And I'm like, oh hey, that's right. There's an acid pool down there. Be careful.
By the way,
Somewhere,
Jacob stroll up into their headquarters and then just, block the exit.
What's the worst thing we can do to these guys? Let Jacob help them.
somewhere along the line, I feel like Klaus is just sitting by himself thinking, man,
Life would be easier on that coffee farm.
I should have just never gotten those water wands.
I should let this place drown.
I could be gathering my harvest right now.
All right,
I could
guys.
have the world's biggest swimming pool.
Yeah, true enough. That's going to be it for us tonight. It's been a fun session. I enjoyed it all the way through.
It's the pool of the world.
Let's see. Whoa. That's not what I thought it was going to be. Let's open that back up. New window, please.
Can you imagine how happy the giant fucking
going to
octopus
fight
dragon would be if we had
Subbot.
the just cauldron as a water lake,
Nope.
As opposed to what?
lava lake.
That's just a regular volcano.
I'm going to find someone to throw you guys at. I think we've been hitting Astro a fair bit lately.
Benny's on.
Yeah, sure, why not? He's actually playing Torchlight Frontiers. So,
Yay.
if you guys haven't seen Torchlight Frontiers, you should check it out, because I'm going to be playing the crap out of that as soon as I
The
can.
new Torchlight game.
Or never
Alrighty,
mind. I think
everyone.
he's actually offline.
Awkward.
We're gonna give you your keys back to your shackles, get them undone, and we're gonna get ready to see you guys next Wednesday. So you guys,
God damn it.
Take it easy.
You know what?
And-
I lied. We're not going to go to Benny since he's offline.
Also, Ronald,
Never
I
mind.
have to
Put those
point out,
shackles back on. We're not leaving just yet.
We're going to.
Ronald, when you
We're
were
going to
saying
do
you would
this.
have to.
We're going to go over to Benjamin Briggs. Ben's a good friend. He's good people, and it looks like he's doing some Breath of the Wild. Go check him out. Tell him I said hi, and listen to his music. Support the guy. He's an incredible creator, and
Also follow him on Twitter.
Yeah,
yes,
and
you will
on
not be let
SoundCloud.
down. You will not be let down.
I was just espousing how great he is to completely separate friends.
Good. More people
Yeah.
should do that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've gone ahead and like directed
We're
everyone
already
to
gone.
Ben Briggs. Oh yeah, fuck it.
I thought you were
All
just
right,
telling
I
us.
fucking hate that guy. He's an asshole. Fucking can't stand him. Ronald, when you were saying that you had